time to make the first video after coming back from Piwars. But as you can see, there's enough devastation here that I can't even sit down. So, I'm going to clean up a bit, and then we're going to have a look at some of the goodies that I came back with and go into the marvellous story of Piwars. So, Piwars. A lot of things happened that weekend. Among other things, it was the first time that I'd actually been asked to go and provide some Arduinos for the local coder dojo. And there was a bit of a logistics issue in actually getting the Arduinos to the coder dojo. They only needed 2, but it was on the weekend I was in Piwars, which made everything ever so slightly complicated. But luckily, they got there and I set up more than one route to do it. So, I actually arrived on the day. On the obstacle course, the robot failed. The batteries we were using, which were just straight AAs, and they were alkaline AAs, they failed. They could not deliver the current needed. So it just blocked on every ramp. Although we couldn't actually get the robot to perform at the time when it counted, after some fixes later in the day, and I'll go into what they were all about, Jonathan drove it on the obstacle course to demonstrate that once fixed, the robot was capable.
Go, little man. Oh, power just wouldn't, just had no power, it just wouldn't go. And now, go on, this is the one everyone treads, John. Yeah, it seems to have, well, there was 2 issues. The batteries I had weren't delivering. Right. Oh. Right, go backwards onto it, John. Wait for the moment and then go at the right time. Battery was, and there was a ground cable that kept popping out the back. Yes, that's the ones. Because I just found it was then I could think about which track was going. Which it can do. Yeah, at least.
Oh well, next year. So on the straight line speed test. Yeah. Right, John, when you're ready, just press enter and it should just start going, and hopefully it won't go in circles. Oh. Kind of worked. Oh. Is it gonna? It eventually veered off.
No.
And we really weren't able to detect the red things, and I think next year we'll be coming back with line sensors underneath. That was another underlying problem. And we went on the slightly deranged Golf. Try going back and then forward. And that's when we found it. And Jonathan, it was his turn to drive for there. And I think he walked away pretty disappointed because the robot failed.
You're on.
It did move momentarily.
Yeah. And then the pad just died again, is it?
It failed to move anywhere, partially because of the current, but also because there was a cable that really worked itself loose. So among the things I've got in my mailbag is a box of connectors of the right kind, because we had connector issues all the way through Piwars that were causing the robot to fail. So I've gone and bought a box of JST connectors. So I can go and crimp these onto the cables and make nice positive connections which clip in, because the power cable, the ground cable, was what fell out. And the strategy I've gone with, the large computer drive power cables, was not working. So I'm going to be crimping those. I also had lots of different gauges of wire, which led to some of the connections being really dodgy. I'd already replaced some of the wiring the weekend before Piwars, which is slightly inadvisable. So another thing I've bought is this ribbon cable. Now this is potentially too thin, so I'll have to figure out if I need something thicker or some other cable. I've got some bell wire. I'm yet to find the right thickness of cable, but this is something that for next year's Piwars I have to get right, which is all the motor and power wiring. So I'm going to get this right as soon as possible. My robots, by the way, are going to be showing in the 12th of May 2018 at the London Arduino Day in, I think it's the College of Arts in Elephant and Castle. So the Piwars robot will be there, and potentially I'd have done some of these simple improvements, not the big improvements, before then. However, there were goodies. So one of the things was this mystery black object, which someone has now identified as a camera stand. So this clips over a Pi, and it's actually designed for a Pi 1. And then a V1 camera can slot in any of the fan of slots up here. I also went and from Mod My Pi bought myself a camera cable, a longer one, so that can probably go onto ARMBot, which I think I couldn't have a cable long enough for. So ARMBot will be making an appearance at the Arduino Day. After repairs to the robot, we had a go at the maze, and the robot turned the first corner of the maze and then rode up a wall. So our turning circles were wrong, partially because we'd gone and adjusted them on carpet and not on the same painted MDF. So do know the materials you're going to be on, especially for the autonomous events. I mean, you can compensate for turning circles and driving manually. You can't in an autonomous event. In the manual events, we did reasonably well at Pi Noon, getting through the first round.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, stop. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Ah. Oh no. Oh no. Ah. Oh. Oh no. Oh, stop.
But in the second round, there was lots of moving. Positioning and maneuvering around. It was all over in one hit. 5 of the 6 balloons went, and 3 of them were mine, so we were out of that. And then in the duck shot, I took the strategy of bowling balls in. So my robot was actually going and nudging balls with the back of it. Where I turned the robot backwards, turned the remote upside down, and then I was ramming the balls in. And I think of the 4 that missed, 1 was just the test out shot because I wasn't really sure, and the other 3 were just my driving skills, as in my just bad bowling and driving. Yay. And I got barely respectable 11 out of the 15 points you can get doing it that way. So that we placed second in the intermediates. Overall, we came 12 out of 14, which is not dead last. It's not exactly first either. And that was Piwars. And I'll be back next week to show you what the goodies I got while placing 12th place out of 14. There was a goodie bag involved. And I'll show you what I got in it. And other than that, go make stuff and be awesome. Bye!